welcome to another episode of the NFL's Weekly Pick'em Show. This is Week 9, brought to you by Gridiron Mo, a new interactive football app where you get to call what you think the offense or defense should do during a live NFL game and see what all other fans have called also. Check out Gridiron Mo at www.gridironmo.com. As always, I'm your host for the Pick'em Show, Mike Goodpasser, and we will first bring in, as we always do, the biggest loser of the week, which was Matt Andrew Scavage, who went 9-5. How you doing today, Matt?
Good otherwise, but it's been nice not being called the biggest loser for a few weeks. So
yeah, Leon's
bummer that I got that title back.
But Leon's moved up in the world. He's only the second biggest loser this week. Leon was 10-4. How you doing, Leon?
I'm doing well. I'm moving up like George and Weezy. I'm going to catch before the season.
No, you're not. You just fell farther behind this week, Leon.
All right, okay.
You just beat Matt. Don't get too excited. Help me welcome our special guest picker tonight. Played for the Denver Broncos during the 1980s, Mark Cooper. How you doing, Mark?
Good. How you doing, Mike?
All right.
How you doing, Matt?
Well, you see how this works now, Mark. We just rip on each other constantly. So
just like the locker room.
It makes it fun.
Yeah, but people listen, so it's all right. And, of course, last week I won, as I was 12-2 again, which puts me 7 games ahead of Leon and 8 games ahead of Matt.
Woo.
Matt?
Yeah,
don't you want to tell everybody how that's not that
games.
far behind?
Well, those heads and tails games are killing me. Maybe I got to start doing that.
Yeah, I've done it once.
Surrey, that's your flip a coin.
Yeah, the other time I picked the Eagles because I just watched Invincible, so it's a logical conclusion. All right,
that's pretty much how I'm losing.
First game of the week, we're going to let Mark go. It's the Thursday night game between the Cleveland Browns and the undefeated Cincinnati Bengals.
I'm sticking with the Bengals, baby.
There you go. Leon?
I mean, as much as I hate to admit it, the Bengals do look good. And I'm never picking the Browns. It's like picking the 49ers and mad. The Browns just got off.
What do we do if the 49ers play the Browns? And they do this year, don't they?
They do. I think I'd pick the Browns.
I would too.
Hey, I've got the Bengals. This is easy.
All right, Matt?
Yeah, no doubt about it. Just for grins, though, where's this game being played at?
Cincinnati.
Oh God! Now, if I read my Twitter feed right, Johnny Manziel's going to start.
I'm hoping.
Yeah, because McCollum didn't practice today. I mean, this should be a bloodbath.
Well, the biggest loss I think is Joe Hayden because you got nobody to cover A.J. Green.
That's just it. Joe Hayden, one of the top corners in the league. Who is going to cover Joe Hayden? In fact, I think if I read it right, almost the whole secondary's out. Whitner's out, Hayden's out, and I think one other guy's out.
Yeah, so but Whitner's a former 49er, so he's not any good anyways.
Whitner's still pretty good, but he's out, so
you guys get rid of all the guys that were good. I forgot.
Yeah.
All right, next game, Miami at Buffalo. Leon.
Oh, man. Where is this, at Buffalo?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well. Is Taylor back? I hope Taylor's back because I want to pick the Bills in this game because I really thought the Dolphins had a shot against the Patriots, and I was sadly mistaken in picking them against the Patriots.
Yeah, we were both sadly mistaken on that.
Yeah, we were sadly. I don't know.
One of the things I got right.
Well, both me and Leon picked New England also. It's just we thought it would be a close game.
Yeah, we thought it would be a close game.
You guys. So nobody picked Miami.
No.
Of course not.
Okay.
Well, this game is in Buffalo. If Taylor's back, I give him a shot. I don't like the Dolphins. I don't like them playing up against Buffalo, especially in Buffalo. With Taylor back, I got to go with the Bills with this game in a close one. So I'm going to take Buffalo.
All right, Matt.
Well, it really does hinge on who the quarterback is. Do we know?
The last time I heard, they were expecting Taylor to play this week.
Yeah, they were expecting him back.
Well, they were on a bye week last week. Miami got crushed. They had those 2 games that they won. Really, I think they were just against Houston and Tennessee. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Buffalo on this too. Close game at home, coming off a bye week, kind of in their hopes to save their season.
All right, I'm going to go the opposite way. I'm going to pick Miami in an upset. Miami got totally embarrassed, 42-14 or 45-14 a few weeks ago.
36-7.
Yeah, something like that. It was bad. That 36-7 was New England-Miami. I'm talking about Miami-Buffalo when they played down in Miami.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad.
I think that was a 42-14 game. I think Miami's got something to prove. Buffalo's been playing terrible. Jacksonville got them last week. Even if Taylor plays, he's going to be a little rusty. Kind of like the Cincinnati-Pittsburgh thing. When you got a quarterback that's missed a few weeks, his timing can't be there. I think Miami wins the game. What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, I don't know. Both 3-4 and going up playing at Buffalo. I'm going to stick with the Bills. Safe bet.
All right. Now remember, if you ride with those other two guys, they're way behind me.
Yeah. Well,
so
Mike
you got to watch
his coin, so you got to flip your coin, then you know.
There you go.
And Leon, I know I saw the post today. I think Leon just picks whichever team has the most guys from the U.
Hey, Leon, that's a great call, man. I'm about to look
exactly. That's right. That's my philosophy.
I'm going there.
All right, Matt, Green Bay at Carolina.
Ooh, tough game. I think Green Bay's got some trouble right now. They got some injuries. I think their offensive line was clearly exposed. A lot of stuff that, Mike, you and I have talked about this on the air, off the air. Green Bay's offensive line, especially at tackle, has trouble. On the road, the Carolina Panthers play with a lot of confidence. I am going to take the Carolina Panthers to win this game. I don't think it'll be a blowout or anything like the Broncos game was, but I do think they win. It's a hard-fought game.
All right. Yeah, this is a rough one to pick because I was going to go Carolina until I watched Carolina play Indy, which gave me a little bit of doubt. I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers not to play two crappy games in a row. I'm going to go with Green Bay. What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing. I mean, that was going up against our defense was tough on the pack altogether. They did lose a couple of DBs. I'm not sure if they're going to make it back in this week. So that'll be interesting. But Aaron Rodgers, I think he's just such a good quarterback. I think, he'll have a come-out game right after that loss.
Well, I don't know about you, Mark, but I think the AFC is, especially the top 3 or 4 teams, is just worlds ahead of the NFC. I mean, if you watch Carolina, they have trouble with Indianapolis. I mean, I think if you threw Carolina in against Cincinnati, New England, or Denver, I think they'd get their doors blown off.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely.
Yeah, I tell you,
no doubt about that.
And I'm not being a homer, but I haven't seen a better defense than the Broncos are putting up right now. And that goes back to the Bears and the Giants.
Yeah, that's.
Well, I think a little too early to put them in the category of the Bears and Giants yet.
I do agree that they're the best. They're playing the best in the league.
You're only halfway through the season yet, Mark. Calm down.
All right, I'm a little bit of a homer.
Yeah, well, I think the problem is, though, when you play a Cincinnati or New England, they both have good defenses, and I think they have a lot more offense than Denver's shown so far.
Yeah, I think he's getting in the groove. Finally got in the groove. They put him in the pistol, keep him out from under center. Manning's good.
Yeah, but you also put him up against Green Bay. And I don't think Green Bay's defense is that great.
Yeah, a stat I heard that Green Bay, none of the teams, everybody was under 500 that they'd played up to this point, too. So
yeah, their best win was probably the come-from-behind win against Seattle, which is looking like not that big a deal anymore all of a sudden.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. That was week 2 without Cam Chancellor.
Yeah. Seattle's a shell of themselves, if anything.
All right, Leon, Green Bay at Carolina.
I don't know how the Panthers are 7-0, to be quite honest with you. I mean, I still don't know who Cam Newton is throwing the ball to outside of Greg Olsen. That's it. I mean,
Ted Ginn drops a wide open touchdown.
That's what I was
gosh.
He might as well be throwing the ball to himself. But that defense is rock solid now. Now, granted, it was against the Colts and they struggled late in the fourth quarter. Giving up 3 scores late, but I just can't see Aaron Rodgers having 2 bad games in a row. I mean, he's just too great of a player. I just think Green Bay comes away with this. I think they come into the Panthers' house and give them their first loss. So I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay Packers.
All right, next game, Jacksonville, who all of a sudden is only a game out of first place against the New York Jets, who may not have a quarterback. Yeah, they're 2-6, tied for first at 3-5, Houston and Indianapolis. I mean, you're probably going to have a team coming there maybe 6-10. I mean, you could have 3 teams in the AFC, the top 3 seeds, all be 14-2 or better, and have the 4th seed 6-10.
I think they were 2-5 though. Weren't they off?
Jacksonville's 2-5. Yeah. What did I say? 2-6.
I think they're only like a half game out of first.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're right there now. And they're playing the Jets, who either Fitzpatrick plays with torn ligaments or Bryce Petty plays the way it sounds. I'm going to go with Jacksonville in the upset. What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, I got to go with Jacksonville, too. The Jets are just in a disarray right now, I think.
Leon?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Jaguars. The Jaguars are half game out of first place. Hell, I never thought I'd ever say that. It's been 10 years coming saying that. But I just think the Jets, Geno Smith is not the answer. And what's his name, Fitzpatrick, I don't know if he's going to play or not. Their defense has always been rock solid, but they got exposed last week against Oakland. But I'm going to go with the Jaguars, like you said, in the upset. So I'm going to pick Jacksonville.
All right, Matt?
Yeah, tough call. I think if Fitzpatrick is there, it's much harder to call. But if Fitzpatrick's out, yeah, I'm going to go with Jacksonville as well. I think Allen Hurn and Allen Robinson are two really good up-and-coming receivers. T.J. Yeldon's really good. They're coming off a bye week. The Jets, they all of a sudden could start looking very, very ordinary.
I think it's the first time all year that all four of us have picked the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Exactly. That's history in the making.
Yeah, who'd have thought that, right?
Here's what I think is an interesting game. The St. Louis Rams at the Minnesota Vikings. Mark?
Oh, man, that's a tough one. You got a 4-3 and a 5-2, but Vikings running the ball hard. But I'll tell you what, I like there's something about the Rams that I like, and that defense, they're pretty tough when they get to the passer. So I'm gonna go with the Rams.
All right, Leon?
Yeah, this is gonna be a fun game to watch, to be quite honest with you. I mean, Adrian Peterson and Gurley, what's the over-under 150? Who gets it first? I'm going with the Rams. I like Gurley. I like the way he's been running the ball. That front forward is going to get after Teddy Bridgewater, although I am a fan of his. I think these are two playoff teams, at least two wild card teams in the making, but I'm going to have to go with the Rams with this one.
Wait a second. Leon, when we did our NFL preview show and I picked both of these guys to go to the playoffs, you told me I was nuts.
I thought you were drinking. I wasn't sure. But whatever you're drinking now,
I might have been. I don't remember. So it's been a while back.
But whatever you're drinking now, I'm drinking it too. How about that? I think I like these.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, two really good teams. Definitely could be two playoff teams that we're watching. I'm going to go with the Vikings at home. The Rams are definitely something special on the defensive line. Todd Gurley's going to be tough to stop, but I think the Vikings are just as tough. And I think the Rams sustain a couple of injuries. They don't really have much in their secondary. I think Teddy Bridgewater can hit a couple of his receivers, and Adrian Peterson can do just as much damage as Todd Gurley.
Yeah, I like Minnesota. I've liked Minnesota since the start of the year. I don't know how they lost to the Niners, but stuff happens sometimes.
Hey, someone has
I'm going to take Minnesota. I think the difference is this. Both have very good running games. Both have solid defenses. I think overall Minnesota's DBs are better than the Rams. Minnesota's at home, and I think the big thing that has put Minnesota over the top the last couple of weeks is the emergence of Stephon Diggs as a deep threat.
Yes.
You give Bridgewater somebody to throw the ball to. I really like Bridgewater. Foles, I think, is a good quarterback, but he has not shown it yet this year, so I'm going to go with Minnesota. That brings us, Leon, this is probably the toughest game of the week to pick, the Washington Redskins at the New England Patriots.
Oh, my God.
And remember, you're way behind me, so you might want to take a risk here.
Yeah, not on this game. The Redskins I swear, the Patriots are going to make the Redskins look like a Big 12 defense. They might put up 60 in this game. This won't be even close. I mean, Tom Brady has had another stratosphere the way he's been playing. You might as well hand him the MVP trophy today, the way he's been playing the ball. This is a no. Come on now. I got the Patriots by at least 30.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, Patriots should absolutely just completely blow them out. You look at the way the Patriots run their offense; they've got just like 100 ways to kill you. And the Redskins, the problem with Washington is their D-backs have been hurt all year. And the only thing I've heard is that D'Angelo Hall may be practicing. I don't know if they're going to have any of those guys back. Kirk Cousins, there's just no way. New England's going to out-scheme them. They're at home. Who wins in Foxborough ever? Hardly anybody. So New England by a lot.
And Baltimore in the playoffs a couple times. I'm going to take New England. Mark?
Yeah, I mean, the only way the Redskins win this is if the Patriots airplane crashes.
Oh, damn.
Damn, that was harsh. That was harsh, Mark.
You can't handle the truth.
Let's see. Where are we? Matt, this is another classic game. Tennessee at New Orleans.
Well, if there's one thing I've learned, it's regardless of how he looks elsewhere, how hurt he is, just ignore it all, because once you get Drew Brees in the Superdome, you got to pick him. And Tennessee, oh my gosh, yeah, there's just no way. And with all the disarray they've got going on, Mariota.
Well, let's do this. We're all going to pick New Orleans, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's take this a different way. Mark, what do you think about Ken Wisenhunt being fired?
You know, I'll be honest with you. I haven't paid much attention to New Orleans other than last week. And if Drew Brees plays half as well, you know, with that third-ranked passing offense, they're still going to destroy Tennessee.
Yeah, but my thing is this. With Tennessee, do you think that Wisenhunt should have been fired?
Well,
at 1-6, you know what I mean? At 1-6, I mean they just don't know what they want over there. I mean, they went through Munchak. How long did he stay there? 3 years? 2 years?
Well, that's kind of the point. They keep going through these guys. I mean, Wisenhunt has taken a team to a Super Bowl before. I think he's a really good coach. He didn't have a quarterback till the start of this year, and it was a rookie. And they played fairly well when he was playing. He gets hurt. Now you got Zach Mettenberg, which I don't know why anybody that saw him in college would think he could be an NFL quarterback, and you should draft him to do that. But I don't see how you can bring in a coach to fix this.
Yeah, I think
you need 2 or 3 drafts to fix it. Yeah, you need 2 or 3 drafts to fix it because bad drafts are what put it this way.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
I couldn't even tell you who Tennessee's running back is. I think it's Bishop Sankey or something, isn't it?
Now it's his last name is Andrews.
Well, unless it's William Andrews, and this is 1985, that's not impressive.
No, it's not William Andrews.
But, all right, so we're going to take a break real quick, go out and get a word from our sponsor, Gridiron Mo, and we'll be back. And the next game that will be picked will be on Leon Searcy's team, who lost this week to the Cincinnati Bengals. We'll be right back.
This is former All-Pro Leon Searcy. I've got a new interactive app called Gridiron Mo, where you get to call the plays, offense or defense, and a live NFL game. You get to interact with other fans, pick the play, pick the call. That's Gridiron Mo.
All right, we're back for the Grilling Truth Week 9 Pick'em Show. Who's up next here? Oh, we get the Giants in Tampa Bay, and then Leon Searcy's losing team. Oh. All right, Giants at Tampa Bay. That's me. That's a tough game to pick. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay. I mean, the Giants have looked terrible every time I've seen them play, even when they've won. Their defense is terrible. The Buccaneers are starting to score some points. They upset Atlanta this last week. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay in the upset. What do you think, Mark?
You know, only because I played there, I'm going to be a homer and pick the Bucks. The Giants have been playing, you know, they're hit and miss. And like you said, the Bucks have started to score a few points and seem to be getting a little bit better. You know, they're running the balls. You know, they're running the ball well. You know, their offense is starting to play well. Defense isn't bad. Passing's not the greatest, but when you can run the ball like that, you know, Giants are a little bit beat up, I think. So I'm going to go with the home team, Tampa.
Okay, Leon?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Tampa, too. I was very impressed the way they played last week against Atlanta. A lot of people are not saying this, but, you know, Jameis Winston is quietly having a very productive season. He's not having as many interceptions that he had. He's taking care of the football a lot better than he did early on in the season. I think he's got weapons. I think he's got a good running back in Martin. I think he's got 2 bona fide receivers. Defense isn't playing too bad. The offensive line is pretty decent. I just think the Giants are just terrible. I mean, outside of Eli throwing for 6 touchdowns and still losing the game, both the defensive coordinator, who is it, Spagnuolo, that game last week against the Saints.
Yeah.
I mean, he should have. I mean, I would have made him fly commercial. He gave up 6 touchdowns against the Saints in that game, and it was just awful. I got to go with the Bucs at home. I don't know if this is an upset. I just think the Giants are just playing that poorly. Well, I got Tampa Bay winning this game.
All right, let's go, Matt.
Yeah, I'm really back and forth on this one, though. I understand the logic behind picking Tampa Bay. And I feel like this is going to be one of those ones. If I pick Tampa Bay, I'm going to regret it. So I'm going to pick the Giants. I think they got the better quarterback. They did play pretty well on the road, other than obviously the defense, but it was against Drew Brees. Jameis Winston is not Drew Brees. I think they're going to play good enough just to win this game, but I can see either way. I'm going to go with
either, though. Drew Brees doesn't have Mike Evans, and Mike Evans can do everything them Saints receivers did and then some.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I understand.
Mark, Oakland at Pittsburgh, which I think's maybe the game of the week.
Oh, my God. You know what? As much as I hate to say this, and I got a lot of Pittsburgh Steeler buddies, go Gary Dunn from the U and old Leon, and as much as I hate the freaking Raiders, I they've been kind of getting better and better every week. And, the Steelers were beat up. What's his Le'Veon? I can't remember to pronounce his name, but he went down, with a bad knee injury, and that's pretty much their running game as far as I was concerned. And so I'm going to pick the Raiders.
All right, Leon. Your 500 Steelers against the Raiders.
Yeah, man. Unfortunately, I'm going to pick the Raiders to win as well. I think the Steelers are beat up. I think Ben is rusty. That last game against Cincinnati, where he had 3 picks, he just seems out of sync. I think he needs another 1 or 2, another 2 more games under his belt before he gets back to form. He's got all the weapons. Losing Le'Veon Bell did hurt him a big time. The defense did play pretty decent against the Bengals. I just think the Raiders are a better team, to be quite honest with you, on both sides of the ball. I think David Carr is having a very productive season. I think this might be a playoff team, maybe a wild card team. They won a couple of games. They might finish the season 9-7, 10-6, maybe. But I can see them going into Pittsburgh and winning. I think the Steelers are banged up, so I'm going to pick the Raiders as well.
All right, Leon, I'd like to bring up the fact again that I picked them to go 9-7, make a wild card, and you told me I was crazy on the preview show too. A little pattern here to me being right, and you and Matt being wrong in there.
Gotta let him have his fun, Leon. He hasn't been this right on in like 30 years. So.
Oh, whatever. Whatever.
1988, that's probably the last time.
What's that supposed to mean? You always got to be a smart ass with these Super Bowl things since you're a Niner fan and I'm a Bengal fan, right?
No, I didn't say anything about the Super Bowl.
Matt, I'm getting tired of hearing your mouth.
Tough game. Tough game. I like D'Angelo Williams being the fill-in for Le'Veon Bell. He did really well while he was out. The thing is, though, like you guys are saying, I do think Pittsburgh's banged up. I do think this is the game that tells us if the Raiders are for real. I think if they can go into Pittsburgh and win, they're definitely looking like they're on their way to a wild card. I'm going to go with the coin flip on it, and I'll take the Raiders.
All right. Well, we'll make it 4 ways here. I just think that, I think they brought Ben back too quickly. I think they probably should have waited until this week to bring him back. I think they forced him back too quick. He was rusty. He was limping the whole game. I really like Derek Carr, Murray running the ball, Cooper throwing the bar, catching the passes. I'm going to go with Oakland. Then we got Leon, Atlanta at the San Francisco 49ers.
Oh, my goodness. Matt, I told you I'd never pick the 49ers again all season. And now y'all got Blaine Gabbert to the rescue. Okay.
Yeah, not good.
No, that's not good. But I'm not overly impressed with the Falcons as well. I mean, as much firepower as they have offensively, they struggled against Tampa Bay. 49ers defense is subpar at best. Maybe they show some pride and play the Falcons tough, but ultimately they'll lose in the end. Bad teams find a way to lose. So I'm going to go with Atlanta by at least 2 touchdowns. So I got the Falcons.
All right, Matt, you going to go with your home team?
No, they're in complete rebuild mode. The offensive line is probably the worst in football. Pro Football Focus had everybody rated the worst. So yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any reason to think that they're even going to show up. They might show up for a little while, but Blaine Gabbert is just terrible.
Yeah,
and there's so many guys that are now out. They lost almost all their running backs last week in St. Louis. They had to go sign Pierre Thomas out of the scrap heap. He's going to start. So Atlanta is, they're coming off a tough loss. They need to win this game. It's a conference game. They get to keep pace with Carolina. I don't see any way Atlanta loses this game.
Yeah, I'm going to take Atlanta. It must be embarrassing to be a 49ers fan right now. Mark, what do you think?
Well, I'm not going to whine like I just heard Matt doing.
I know.
I'm just going to take Atlanta.
Was that whining? I always thought it was pretty straight up.
I don't know. It was, everybody got hurt. Somebody shot my dog. Go ahead, Mark.
I was going to pull tissue. I was going to pull tissues out, but
Man, it sounds like
his phone's soaking wet.
It's almost as bad as a while ago when Leon complained because the Bengals played too rough.
I wasn't complaining. I was just saying it the way it is. They're in rough shape. What was I supposed to do?
Go ahead, Mark.
I'm going to pick Atlanta.
I like Mark. We need to have Mark on every week.
Oh, my God.
Oh, boy. Hey, man, it did sound like you were drinking some warm milk.
I was giving a pretty honest assessment of how bad it was.
Everybody leave Matt alone. Because you know what? His San Francisco 49er Weekly show with Dexter Carter is going to become relevant in about April or May.
Oh, yes, very relevant. With the first pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, 49ers select
punter from California.
At this point, you never know.
Oh, all right. We'll leave you alone. Go ahead, Mark. Atlanta and San Francisco.
Oh, yeah. Atlanta.
Okay. I really do. I'm growing to really like Mark. Let's see. Denver at Indianapolis. Leon.
This is what I call the stick it to you game. Peyton Manning goes back home to Indianapolis. Andrew Luck is playing horrible. I mean, he did have a good fourth quarter in bringing them back and made the game close, but he's just a turnover machine, to be quite honest with you. Denver Broncos, that defense is rock solid. They are getting it done on defense. I mean, they are rock solid from the front four, the linebackers, and the DBs. Peyton Manning seems to have regained his arm. Everybody thought his arm was going rubber, but he had an outstanding game against Green Bay. The Colts, they look bad. They're just bad. I think the Broncos win this game easy.
All right, Matt.
Oh yeah, Broncos are going to kill them. The Colts are in complete disarray. They fired their offensive coordinator today, and you got to. I don't know how their head coach is hanging on, but their defense is in disarray. Their offensive line is almost as bad as the Niners, and Andrew Luck just doesn't look right. He's got. They're saying he's playing with a couple broken ribs. He played pretty well in that fourth quarter, but Denver's defense is just too good. Andrew Luck's going to be on his back most of the day.
Yep, he's going to be like a $2 whore. I think Denver pretty much dominates this game with a bye week coming after it. If they do, I expect Pagano may be fired after that. What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, you know what? I don't think Luck makes it through the game, to be honest with you. And that defense is, just bringing it right now. And like I said, that's the best defense I've ever seen. So, I'm going to homer it up a little bit.
Best defense you've ever seen.
Ever. Ever. And I played against the Bears, and I played against the Giants. I'm just telling you, the best defense I've ever seen.
Ever.
That's
a long time, Mark.
That's a long, long time. Even now, I'm going to go all the way back to the Steelers defenses of the 70s.
The Steelers defense in 1976 was the greatest defense of all time.
You know what? We have to reconvene at the end of the season for statistical data on this.
Well, you know what? They're going to have to shut out almost everybody the rest of the year because Pittsburgh that year lost Terry Bradshaw, had Mark Kruzak as the starting quarterback, pitched 4 shutouts, and then won the division, beating Cincinnati 7-3. I mean, they went like 3 or 4 games and only gave up like 6 points, and it was against good teams. It's not like it is today where half the teams are crap anyways. Plus, you got to do this also. The rules are a lot different than what they were in the mid-'80s and especially in the mid-'70s.
Oh, my God.
It was a hell of a, I mean, now you're not allowed to touch anybody anyway, so. But so you're picking Denver with the greatest defense that has ever played?
That's ever played in the world.
Okay, so the Broncos will go 19-0 this year.
I won't go that far.
I know, because they're going to lose to New England and Cincinnati probably. But, Leon, what do you think, Denver and Indianapolis?
You had to throw in Cincy, didn't you?
Well, Cincy's a better team.
Oh,
okay. Who's got the better offensive line?
On that one.
Who's got the better offensive line? Bengals or Broncos?
We all know Cincinnati's kryptonite.
Hey, Leon, you cheer for the Steelers. You be quiet. You can go sit in the corner and talk with Matt. Because your teams aren't going to the playoffs, all right?
Hey, this offensive line is getting better every week.
Yeah, but the Bengals' offensive line is better. Who has the better running backs?
But the defense shuts down running backs and quarterbacks. That's all there is to it. They got to go to the short.
Yeah, who have they shut down? They shut down Green Bay, which Eddie Lacy's done nothing this year. Their offensive line is terrible. I mean, they shut down the Raiders, but the Raiders hadn't really done anything till after that game. And you may have good DBs, but the Bengals have a great tight end. They have a great wide receiver. They got 2 or 3 complementary receivers that are good. And Andy Dalton's QBR is better than Tom Brady's right now.
Yeah, that's just temporary.
And they've also won 4 road games that were fairly tough when you guys just get to play in a crappy division with the Chiefs and the Chargers.
They won't last.
And what's that division you're in again? Who you got in there? The Steelers and the Browns?
We got the Steelers, the Browns, and the Ravens. And I'll tell you what, the Ravens are probably They just beat the Chargers.
My team beat the Ravens.
Huh?
Just so you know, my team beat the Ravens.
Yeah, so did the Bengals and the Broncos. And the one thing that the Bengals and Broncos
can't be
have
that
in
good.
common? Hey, the thing the Bengals and Broncos have in common is they barely beat the Ravens. Everybody barely beat the Ravens. The fact that they lost to you
killed
guys
the Ravens.
That John Harbaugh probably had money on the Niners. Either that or he felt sorry for him.
We were under center.
Maybe.
Listen, the Bengals, when the Super Bowl comes around, just make sure the Bengals get in contact with Peyton so they can give him the number to Papa John so they can order the pizza and watch the game at home.
Well, you know what? You know who will deliver the pizza to them? Pittsburgh Steelers players, because they won't have jobs because they got rid of their asses because they went 8-8.
Oh, here we go.
You guys are going to watch the entire playoffs.
Hey,
what the hell?
You're going to be such a broken man when the Bengals blow it in the playoffs.
How am I going to be a broken man? I've been a Bengals fan since I was born in 1968. I'm used to this crap.
You really think they're going to win it this year?
Listen, I just want to be there I just want to be there in the playoffs.
It's going to be brutal.
Yeah. He's going to be whining like Matt was a minute ago.
I think if that's what I was doing, then he's going to surpass me.
I don't whine. I'm a grown-ass man. I cheer for a team from the Midwest, not a team from San Francisco.
Oh, big deal.
Hey, and you know what? I can't be fired from this show because me and Matt own it. So I can say everything I want about Caitlyn Jenner or whatever I want, too. But, all right. Well, I guess we all picked Denver. So now we'll go Matt.
Where are we now?
Philadelphia and Dallas.
Oh, boy. This used to be such a classic matchup,
wasn't it?
Now I'm not sure. Oh, it's always used to be a good matchup, but Dallas hasn't won a game without Romo. I'm just going to go with Philadelphia. The first time probably maybe the only time I picked Philadelphia all year.
Well, I'm going to go with Philadelphia also. I don't know why. They both suck, but and I don't like Sam Bradford. So I mean, these are just two bad teams, and the bad thing is, like the AFC South, the NFC East, all these teams are still in contention. Hell, you never know, the Redskins might end up winning it. Mark, what do you think?
Oh, you know what? The Dallas seems like they're just finding a way to lose, so I got to go with the Eagles, too.
All righty. Leon.
Yeah. Cowboys, this is a terrible game. Cowboys are too dysfunctional to win. The Eagles aren't that good. I'm not a big Sam Bradford fan. Chip Kelly's offense has been smoking like that all season. This is a definitely coin toss game, but I'm going to have to go with the Eagles. I think the Eagles will win, I guess.
All right, Chicago at San Diego. There's a lot of crappy games this week.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's one of them.
Who's up to pick this, me or you, Matt?
I'll take it.
All right, go ahead.
Yay. The thing with the Bears is, there was a couple of games this year where they were not really projected to win, but they found a way to win at the end. But largely that's due to Matt Forte. Matt Forte going down is that's like taking away their whole offense. Cutler can hit Alshon Jeffrey a few times, but ultimately the heart and soul of that offense is Matt Forte.
But remember, San Diego's lost Keenan Allen, which is their main
I agree. But Keenan Allen's a huge loss for them. They are getting Gates and Stevie Johnson back, which will help. Obviously, it's not the same as having Keenan Allen in there. But the Chargers have played really well in 4 or 5 straight games, and they just keep coming up short. I got to believe this is the game that they finally win, so I'm going to take the Chargers.
Yeah, I agree, and Phillip Rivers may be having his best season.
He is.
It's just his defense is not very good, and they keep coming up short in close games. I mean, everybody they played tough. To me, San Diego's like Baltimore. They're a well-coached team with a good quarterback. Even if they're having a bad season, when you get to week 12 or 13, even if you're Cincinnati, Denver, or New England, you don't want to see them coming up on the schedule because they're a scary team because you know they are capable, especially if you let down even a little bit. Mark, what do you think?
Yeah, you know what? I like to – the Chargers, they're first in offense, first in passing. They just can't run the ball. Luckily their defense is middle of the pack. And I hate Jake. I hate Cutler.
Hate's a strong word, Mark.
Yeah, that's for real on this guy. Yeah, when you meet, I played around Elway. I played around, Jim Kelly, Testaverde. I played around a lot of great quarterbacks, and when you meet a guy and they don't look in the eye, and he's just an odd duck, man. And just a weird dude when he was in Denver, and I ran into him about 4 different times, and every time I walked away going, wow, this guy's really interesting, and it's just not a leader.
Yeah, and you wouldn't think he'd be that big an asshole since he came from Indiana, because everybody from Indiana is usually pretty cool.
Where'd that come from?
I'm from Indiana. He went to school in Indiana. He won an Indiana State High School championship. Well, I guess assholes run from around here, because so did Jeff George. And if you ever met Jeff George,
no,
you'll know what I'm talking about.
Same deal.
Leon, where were we? San Diego, Chicago.
Yeah, I'm going with the Chargers in this one. I'm not a big Jay Cutler fan either. I actually ran into him at a hotel in Hollywood, Florida. He was valet parking his car. He even did that wrong, to be quite honest with you. He just has this.
How did he do that wrong, Leon?
I don't know. It's just his facial expression, man. I don't know. It was just something about the cat. It was like he had diarrhea or something. He just had this expression the whole time. I don't know what it is. But that's not I'm just picking the Chargers because I just think they're a better team. They're 2-16, but they lost a lot of close games. The last 3 or 4 games, they had opportunity to win, and they just come up short. I can't say they're the best 2-16, but they have had a lot of success. But I think they turned around when they beat the Bears. So I'm picking the Chargers.
All right. Well, that's all the games for this week.
That's it.
Yeah. We had 2 guys from the U on here because, Mark, you played up through, 82?
Yeah, I was a Schnellenberger guy.
You played with Jim Kelly then, right at the start of all that.
Came out with Kelly, yeah, you bet.
Yeah, that was it all started at. I think you guys upset Penn State in 81, wasn't it?
You know what's funny? They came in here at ranked number 1. We beat their butt, sent them home, and the big theme of the game was that Paterno recruited Kelly as a linebacker.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I remember Brett Musburger talking about that. I've actually got that game on video.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, that's all we do with
it. It was like 26-10 or something, wasn't it? It wasn't even that close, I think.
No, it really wasn't.
No, it wasn't. Listen, that's all we do at the U. We beat number 1 teams. That's all we do.
Well, Duke's number 1 in basketball. And you beat them, so.
Well, maybe we get some laterals in there.
So who do you think should be the next coach at Miami, Leon?
Who do I think? I would like to see Butch come back. It's not going to happen, though. It's just wishful thinking. Everybody's talking about Chubb, but Chubb just got a new job. He's offense coordinator with Indianapolis Colts now. I don't think he leaves that game. I'm hearing, what's his name, Mark Richt.
Nah,
Georgia.
You won't get him.
No, we won't get him. We can't afford him. We're not going to spend no money.
You don't want Mark Richt.
Well, I think what's going to end up happening, I think Mario Cristobal is going to come down.
Yep.
I think Mario is going to come down. I think he's going to take the gig.
Rick was my college roommate, believe it or not. I talked to him all the
You've
time.
got a son that's a quarterback, correct?
Yeah, he's playing somewhere, but I don't remember where.
Yeah, I can't either, but I actually, his senior year, tried to get him to come play arena football for my team. And his dad, I called through, or I actually spoke with his dad and asked him, and he said, my son's not playing football anymore. He's going to get a real job and make real money, and he hung up. Not a great first impression, but he was right, though. We were only going to pay him like $600 a game. But
yes.
All right. Matt, any final words?
Yes.
Any final words? You want to tell us how the
hopefully
49ers had the greatest defense in NFL history this year?
I don't think that's the case. There's a couple guys I like on the team that look good, but no, they are in full rebuild mode. It is ugly. It is as bad as it could possibly be. So we'll see what happens.
All right, Leon, any final words?
Well, I think the AFC. I think the AFC is clearly dominant. Every aspect. I think the best teams, the Bengals, the Patriots, the Broncos, are far superior to any team out in the NFC.
You said
Green
the Broncos
Bay.
third, Mark. I just wanted to bring that up real quick.
Well, not in particular order. I'm just letting
he meant that particular order. He did, Leon. You meant it in that order.
No. But I just
you can't say you're going in alphabetical order because Denver Broncos would be ahead of New England.
Well, the AFC is clearly dominant. Those three teams could beat anybody in the NFC. Whatever team makes it to the Super Bowl,
no question.
They'll be the clear-cut favorite. So it's going to be very interesting. As we go through the midpoint of the season, we're going to see who teams start jockeying for positions, home field advantage. We're going to see. I think that the Broncos could go anywhere and win. I think the Patriots could go anywhere and win. The Bengals got to get it at home or they'll be going home.
You're crazy. You also told me that Pittsburgh would beat them because they couldn't win on. You know what? You know who the quarterback that's won the most road games in the first 5 years of his NFL career is?
Who's that?
Andy Dalton. He's won 23, which ties him with Dan Marino and Big Ben, and he's got 4 games to break that.
What's his record in the playoffs?
I don't know. What's Miami of Florida's record this year?
Oh, Lord.
That was weak.
That was horrible.
It's really weak when you realize I'm a Miami fan, too, Mark. But, hey, we got to do stuff for ratings, all right? Yeah, but you know what? I mean, if you say that, then Denver's doomed because they've got a quarterback that's been 9 one-and-dones.
Exactly.
I mean, so that means nothing, Leon. He's played 4 years. He hadn't won a playoff game. You know how many quarterbacks have done that? Terry Bradshaw went 5 years before he won a playoff game, and he won the Super Bowl right after he won the first playoff game.
Oh,
you know, a quarterback cannot take a quarterback cannot take a team that is not good enough to win a Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl. You know, Mark played for a Broncos team that if you give them a running back like they did a few years later with Terrell Davis, John Elway would have won them Super Bowls in the mid-'80s.
Yep. Yeah,
you know, you can't put everything on the quarterback. I mean, Colin Kaepernick right now is in a situation that you put anybody in, they're going to lose. He's got no receivers. He's got no offensive line, and his head coach is a moron.
Other than that, everything's fine.
Yeah. I mean, when he had Jim Harbaugh, and he had Greg Roman, and he had good coaches, and he had a good offensive line, good wide receivers, good defense, he got it done. If you look at Dalton last year, this team did not have Tyler Eifert. They didn't have Marvin Jones. I mean, they were missing 6 starters on average through the last half of the season. They had Rex Burkhead at tight end in a playoff game. The big thing to come away with that is this. Even though they were missing 3 of their 4 biggest threats on offense, Dalton was good enough to get them to the playoffs.
Okay. So this year,
when's the last time Big Ben won a playoff game, Leon?
All I know is he got he got a ring.
Yeah, but it's been 5 years. When he had players around him, he was good enough to win rings. When the last 5 years, when he didn't have players
but
good
here
enough,
y'all go. That means you got players now. They're all healthy. There's no excuse for Super Bowl or bust for the Bengals.
Yeah. It's the same thing for Denver and New England because that's the only thing you're shooting for. You're not shooting to go and lose it or lose in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I'm just telling you this. You can't put it all on the quarterback.
So I'm asking you a question. Okay, AFC Championship game, if it's in Denver or if it's in New England, does the Bengals go in there and win?
I think this. In Denver, I think they can go win because Peyton Manning has proven he's lost more home playoff games than any quarterback in history.
No way Andy Dalton beats that defense.
December 28th, we're going to find out.
No way Andy Dalton beats that defense in Denver.
There's no way they can beat the defense of Denver because there's no way A.J. Green, Marvin Jones, Tyler Eifert, Gio, Jeremy Hill, a couple Pro Bowl offensive linemen, and what'll be a Pro Bowl quarterback this year can go in and do that. Plus, the other thing is this. Their defense is 9th in the NFL, points given up. I don't care what total defense is. I care what points given up are. Right now they're 9th. They're 3rd on points scored. What's Denver on points scored?
I don't know.
I don't know off the top of my head.
They just held Aaron Rodgers to 70 yards.
Let's not read too much into Denver having one really good game at home against Green Bay. I mean, it's one game. It's
one good game?
But offensively, with an older quarterback, he's always capable of coming out and playing like he did. But very rarely is an older quarterback who's had a lot of injuries able to come out and consistently do that. I mean, if you look at Joe Namath at the end of his career, Joe Namath had two really good games for the Rams.
Yeah, but Peyton walked into a whole new offense this year, and they finally got him in the pistol and out from under center and out of the shotgun, and they were forcing him into situations. He's a rhythm passer, and when he's not in that rhythm, he's not real good. But I think they finally found the magic formula.
The problem with that, Mark, is this. Unless your offensive line improves against a really good team with a good defensive line, it's going to be hard.
I like that kid Tillman now. That kid Tillman, he's another dimension for that offense. I just like the kid. He's real explosive out the backfield, the screen plays, the zone plays that run with the kid. I mean, they had a decent game. Now, I don't know how good Green Bay's defense is, but the kid looked pretty special against them last week.
And I'll tell you this also. Peyton Manning has never been a good bad weather quarterback. So really, when you break it down, you get all three of those teams there. I mean, I still would favor New England just because they've got what I think is the best quarterback I've ever seen and the best coach that's ever lived.
Yeah, they're going to be tough to beat, but you know what's going to be fun? You've got Denver, New England, and you've got Denver, Cincinnati this year.
Yeah, both in Denver. So you guys have no reason not to be the number one seed.
When does Denver play Cincinnati?
28th
not
of December.
It's like the second or third to last week.
28th December.
It's December. Okay.
They play New England November, 28th or 29th?
Yeah.
It's the end of this month. And my other thing is this. You talk about coaches and players that can't win playoff games. Gary Kubiak's had that problem, too.
He's never had players like this.
Because they're the greatest team that ever lived.
No, the defense is. The defense is.
I still think you're pushing it with the greatest defense that ever lived.
I will see at the end of the season.
I would still take Seattle's DBs over Denver's.
This year's DB?
Well, this year.
Now, front three, defensive line, I would take Denver.
Okay.
And
they were
linebackers
suspect
fairly even, but I would lean towards Denver. But I'll still take the 76 Steelers.
Denver's got a lot of rules that are working against them.
What was that?
The thing is, though, the rules changed, but in 1976, all the rules favored the defense. All the rules the defenses have to play under now to be able to do what they're doing under these rules is really good.
Yeah, but they haven't done it yet. They've only played 7 games.
Well,
you can say that about
they
Seattle
look really
last
good.
few years. I mean, that's why
I totally agree with that.
When you consider the rules, I think Seattle 2 years ago was the best defense I ever saw.
That could be.
And, I mean, they were a team that dictated to the offense what they did. I mean, hell, they only played one coverage most of the year. And people couldn't dictate to them what they wanted to do.
That's going on right now in Denver.
All right, Mark. Mark.
Well,
it's week 7 now, remember. Still early. Just like I know that stuff can fall apart in a heartbeat for a team. You know, if Manning or Dalton get hurt, then all bets are off anyways. Or Brady.
Absolutely.
So I think they're the 3 best teams in football, and I think it comes down to this. It doesn't come down to home field advantage or anything else. It comes down to which team's the healthiest when they get to the playoffs.
Exactly. I agree with that 100%.
No question.
I mean, if you look at it, the 2 years the Bengals did make the Super Bowl, in 88 they had 1 player on the IR. In 81 they had nobody on the IR. And it's usually, if you can stay healthy, you've got a chance.
That is true.
Unless you're the 49ers. There was no chance even if they'd have stayed healthy. But I figured...
Well, at least they were healthy in 81 and 88, right?
Yeah, whatever.
Hey, it's all I got right now.
Listen, all I want to know is how big was Vernon Davis' smile when he got the hell up out of San Francisco? What was that, yesterday or today?
I would think he'd be pretty happy.
Oh, he's hog heaven. I mean, it's all about the ring for him.
Exactly.
Yeah, and he was never going to get in San Francisco. They haven't got one in over 20 years.
No. He was
back,
his best chance for a ring.
There we go. Well, you know what, you and Leon...
I didn't say that. I was talking about Vernon Davis.
I know, but you're going to. And you and Leon both got one.
I don't even have to say it, Mike. You know.
I know you're going to say it.
I don't have to say anything.
All you got is, 4 or 5 rings?
That's better than none, right?
Same thing right now. Nobody's got any right now. It's a new season, Matt. You know, you and Leon got to watch the History Channel to say anything good about your teams.
Yeah, there's the channel.
Me and Mark can just watch, regular ESPN if we can put up with the bad announcers.
Yeah, Mark's got a couple of rings.
Just AFC Championship.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah. Damn it, I got one too.
We ran out of time against the Giants in 21.
Yeah, it was a good team.
If they'd have just counted the first half, though, it'd have been all right. I used to really like the Broncos until they changed the uniforms.
So that's when they won.
I like your 87 team.
That and I like it when they beat Brett Favre.
Oh, yeah. That was.
And I'll still tell you this, Mark. I think in 1987, Doug Williams fumbled that ball.
You don't say it again?
Doug Williams fumbled that ball, the one where he went back and he got kind of bent and he dropped the ball.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And that was a 10-0 game at the time. You get that back, you're 13-0 or 17-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Isn't that the game where Elway's, the first throw of the game was a touchdown?
In 87?
Yeah, the Super Bowl?
Yeah, you know what it was. They got 2 trick plays. I was in Tampa then. But, they get up by 2 touchdowns. There were 2 trick plays. Handoff, toss back, touchdown, and then I think another touchdown some other way. And everybody looks at me going, dang, they're going to kill these guys. And I said, whoa. I said, you just had 2 trick plays that scored touchdowns. Now you got to settle down and play football. And then it was over.
All I know is whenever I coach a football game and a team comes out and runs a trick play right away, it tells me they don't think they can beat me straight up normally. Not always true, but... All right, well, Leon, you got any final words?
No, I'm good. I'll make my comeback this week. We'll see.
You've been saying that forever.
Hey, listen.
I mean, you started this whole thing off saying you were going to win it easy, and now you're like 7 or 8 games behind.
Well, it's a 2-point race. We'll see who gets at the end.
All right. Matt.
Well,
and don't say anything about the 49ers, okay? Don't say anything about the 49ers.
I don't think I was going to, but
okay,
I
know, but
make up a couple of... All right, you go ahead and talk for me.
Just sound happier. Oh, now see
why don't you give everybody my final thoughts?
Corner. Go ahead.
You guys related?
I'm hoping for a couple of good games here, but I'm hoping to make up a couple of games in the race. But yeah, it's I think it's pretty cool to see all these undefeated teams. I wonder I don't know who's going to be able to hold on, but I got to believe the AFC is still going to be undefeated. Those 3 teams are really good.
All right, and Mark, I heard that comment. I'm not related to any 49er fans. Go ahead, Mark. Any final words?
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. It was a lot of fun. It's like being back in the locker room, and that's always a good time.
What about the cussing? We couldn't cuss, so.
Yeah, I was keeping it down.
We'll do an explicit show some week.
Mark, really glad to have you on tonight.
A lot of fun, guys. Thanks. And
Do you, baby?
You, baby.
Hey, and we'd love to have you on, during the off season, talk about your career and everything if you're interested.
Yeah, let's have some fun with it.
All righty. But, hey, thanks for calling in. So make sure everybody checks out Gridiron Mo at www.gridironmo.com. Next week on the Pick'em Show, we're going to have another special guest who's actually a Pittsburgh Steeler fan. Former IBF welterweight champion of the world, Kermit Cintron's going to be on. So you'll have another Steeler there, Leon.
There we go.
But so for Matt Andrew Scavage, Leon Searcy, Mark Cooper, this has been Mike Goodpasture. You've been listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.